Last one, number 10, let's go. Start within its original form. I see the degrees are the same, so x squared over x squared. I know I'm going to have dividing the coefficients. So 1 over 1 is going to give me 1. So my horizontal asymptote is at y equals 1. Go ahead and sketch that, knock that out of the way. Y equals 1. All right, so I have my green line at y equals 1. This graph is not going to ever touch at y equals 1. Now I want to figure out all this other information. So now I have to manipulate this in order to see what's happening in the graph. So when I go to factor this down, I'm going to have y equals x and x plus 7x minus 4 all over x times x, and then I have 7 and 5 plus 7x plus 5. All right, and I know I'm going to have, in the very beginning, I know I'm going to have two discontinuities, two things x cannot equal. X cannot equal two values because it's a quadratic. The two things are going to be -7 and -5, -7 and -5. It's important for me to note that so I don't forget, because my next step would be to check, does anything cancel? Yes, amazing. But I need to remember that this does something funky to the graph when these cancel. I still have my x can't be -7, but that's going to become my whole. So -7 is my whole. Remember, I still need to find my y value. So I am going to take my new equation. I think I have room on my paper to do this from here. And I'm going to find the whole when x equals -7. So I'm going to plug that -7 in here, and I'm going to get -7 minus 4 over -7 plus 5, which is going to give me 5.5 when I do this. Will be -11 over -2, which is approximately 5.5. You can leave as a fraction or as a whole number. So it's -7 comma 5.5. And I'm going to go ahead and make that whole on the graph so I don't forget about it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So I have a hole right there on the graph. Now I'm ready to find the other discontinuity, which is the vertical asymptote. So I remember I still have this -5 here. Since that did not cancel out, there was no x plus 5 on top. That is going to be my vertical asymptote. So this is going to become the VA. And I can go ahead and draw a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -5. Okay. So at -5, I've got my vertical asymptote. And then I can figure out my x-intercept. How do you find any intercept? You sub in a 0 for that value. So I'm just going to do this in pen. So this is my equation. So when I sub in a 0 for y, I get x minus 4 over x plus 5. Well, I already know this is going to cancel when I go to multiply that by 0. It's just going to be 0. So I get 0 equals x minus 4, which is going to give me x equals 4 for my x-intercept. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Intercept right there. And then I already know that this is going to be approaching, each side of this graph is going to be approaching the asymptotes. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this shape in here. Once again, if you're struggling to find the shape, make your ordered pairs. Like I did over on my whiteboard, make your ordered pairs, find them, plot them on the graph. But I know it's going to be going this way, and similarly, I know that this one has to be approaching both asymptotes as well. So that's going to be my graph, and then I can fill in my domain. It goes arrow to -infinity, picks up here, +infinity, so it's all real numbers except for those discontinuities, so x cannot be -7 or -5. Range is the same thing. There's no breaks in the graph in terms of like the jumps like there was up here. So it goes from -infinity all the way to the asymptote at 1. So except y cannot be 1. And then at 1, it's going to continue going infinitely except for the blue hole right there. So it also cannot be 5.5. All right, that is all. Send me an email if you have any questions.